أكبر بحول الله. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. يا من له الدنيا والآخرة ارحم من ليس له الدنيا والآخرة يا كريم. الله أكبر. الحمد لله كما هو أهله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله إلى أموات الحاضرين وشيعة أمير المؤمنين، رحم الله من يقرأ سورة المباركة الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين، السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى، السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء، السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله الحسين ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا سيدي ومولاي يا غريب الغرباء وبعيد المدى، السلطان بالحسن علي بن موسى الرضا. السلام عليك وعلى آبائك سبعة، وعلى أبنائك الأربعة، وعلى أختك فاطمة المعصومة ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا سيدي ومولاي يا صاحب العصر والأمر والزمان، سيدي الأمان 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 من فتنة الزمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن. اللهم أرنا الطلعة الرشيدة وغرة الحميدة، واكحل ناظري بنظرة مني إلي، وعجل الفرج وسهل مخرجا، واجعلنا من أعوانه وأنصاره والمستشهدين تحت لوائه. السلام عليك يا أهل بيت النبوة جميعا ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحج.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. For anybody who was fasting today, there will be some pizza and some dates outside for anybody fasting. If you haven't fasted, please don't eat it. Just save it for the people who did fast. Thank you. Jazakallah khair. And we'll continue with the program with Quran and then on to lecture after that. Salu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والمرسلات عرفا فالعاصفات عصفا والناشرات نشرا فالفارقات فرقا فالملقيات ذكرا عذرا أو نذرا إنما توعدون لواقع فإذا النجوم طمست وإذا السماء فرجت وإذا الجبال نسفت وإذا الرسل أقتت لأي يوم أجلت ليوم الفصل وما أدراك ما يوم الفصل ويل يومئذ للمكذبين ألم نهلك الأولين ثم نتبعهم الآخرين كذلك نفعل بالمجرمين ويل يومئذ للمكذبين ألم نخلقكم من ماء مهين فجعلناه في قرار مكين إلى قدر معلوم فقدرنا فنعم القادرون ويل يومئذ للمكذبين ألم نجعل الأرض كفاتا أحياء وأمواتا وجعلنا فيها رواسي شامخات وأسقيناكم ماء فراتا ويل يومئذ للمكذبين انطلقوا إلى ما كنتم به تكذبون انطلقوا إلى ظل ذي 3 شعب لا ظليل ولا يغني من اللهب إنها ترمي بشرر كالقصر كأنه جمالات صفر ويل يومئذ للمكذبين هذا يوم لا ينطقون ولا يؤذن لهم فيعتذرون ويل يومئذ للمكذبين هذا يوم الفصل جمعناكم والأولين فإن كان لكم كيد فكيدون ويل يومئذ للمكذبين إن المتقين في ظلال وعيون وفواكه مما يشتهون كلوا واشربوا هنيئا بما كنتم تعملون إنا كذلك نجزي المحسنين ويل يومئذ للمكذبين كلوا وتمتعوا قليلا إنكم مجرمون ويل يومئذ للمكذبين وإذا قيل لهم اركعوا لا يركعون ويل يومئذ للمكذبين فبأي حديث بعده يؤمنون صدق الله العلي العظيم وصدق رسول الكريم محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
درود محمد وآل محمد پر اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. لبيك يا عباس لبيك يا عباس. درود محمد وآل محمد پر اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ایک شور ہے عباس 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 عباس. دریا پہ جو پہنچا اسد اللہ کے پیارا للکار کے پر فوج کو غازی پکارا. तुम सब कहते कि दरियाए हमारा अब देख लो हमें ए तुम्हारा लो छीन लो हमें कब्ज़ाए हमारा दरियाए हमारा दरियाए हमारा अब्बास के नारा है अलमदार के नारा दरियाए हमारा दरियाए हमारा अब्बास के नारा है अलमदार के नारा दरियाए हमारा लो छीन लो हमें कब्ज़ाए हमारा दरियाए हमारा मैं है दिल करार की मैं साया मैं पला हूँ मैं फातिमा ज़हरा की दुआ कहाँ से लाऊं अब्बास मेरा नाम मेरे अलमदार वफा हो ए नाम उन सब ए मेरी किस्मत के सितारा दरियाए हमारा अब्बास के अलम के नारा आलम डान के नारा दरियाए हमारा लो छीन लो हमें कब्ज़ाए हमारा दरियाए हमारा आका के दुआ की करम साथ है मेरे देखो बने हाशिम का हशम साथ मेरे रुतबाए अलमदार के अलम साथ है मेरे ले राक पे करता है इशारा दरियाए हमारा अब्बास के नारा है अलमदार के नारा दरियाए हमारा लब्बैक या हुसैन Everyone, today is the night of Abbas and Islam. Let our voice reach that land tonight. Tonight, Abbas and Hussein will come tonight at the mosque, at the ISLAMIC, inshallah. Please make your pledge your allegiance today. Labbaik ya Hussein. Labbaik ya Abbas. Labbaik ya Abbas. Labbaik ya Abbas. Durud Muhammad wa al Muhammad par.
ما شاء الله لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل نعم المولى ونعم النصير ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي جعل الحمد مفتاحا لذكره وسببا للمزيد من فضله ودليلا على آلائه وعظمته ثم الصلاة والسلام وتحية والإكرام على النبي الأمي المكي المدني الهاشمي الذي سمي في السماوات بأحمد وفي الأراضين بأبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أهل بيته الأطيبين الأطهرين سيما أولهم أمير المؤمنين وآخرهم بقية الله في الأراضين روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء ورحمة الله على محبيهم ومواليهم وشيعتهم أجمعين ولعنة الله على أعدائهم ملعونين. Amma ba'd, for the happiness of Hazrat Zahra Marziyah, for the enlightenment of the graves of the marhumin, of the graves of the shuhada, ulama and siddiqeen, for the safety of the followers of Ahlul Bayt around the world, and for the safety and the hastening of the reappearance of Hazrat Baqiyatullah al-A'zam arwahun al-fida. Please recite your loudest salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. All praise due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who's Rahman and the one who's Rahim. We have gathered in order to commemorate or celebrate the birth of an individual whom, from the start of his life, or even from that point since he was born, and then till his death, and then after his death, whenever the believers remember him, whenever the believers recall, it cannot be helped but tears enter the eyes of the believer. The personality of Abul Fadl al-Abbas is such, and these three personalities, whether it is, there is some maslahat that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had ordained that these three personalities be born one day after another, and all three of them present in Karbala, and all three of them carrying some of the greatest sorrows that are there within the Shia world. Regardless of what the case may be or what the wisdom behind it is, Abbas alayhi salam is such a personality that just simply the name of Abbas, or just the thought of what Abbas represented for a believer, is enough to bring tears into their eyes, as long as the heart is pure. And Abbas's journey begins long before he even entered this world. See, Abbas is not just an individual. Abbas is an idea. Abbas is a concept. Abbas is a wish. Abbas is a hope and a wish of none other than Amirul Mu'mineen salawatullah wa salamuhu alayhi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Following the death of Hazrat Zahra, Amirul Mu'mineen some months later approached his brother Aqil, who was an expert in the lineage of the various tribes within Arabia. And he said to Aqil, Aqil, find me a lady from a tribe whose characteristics are the ones of gallantry, chivalry, bravery, so that she may give me a gallant, brave and courageous son. Why? He doesn't tell his brother Aqil at that point. So he sends his brother to go and scout. There are 2 points here for those that are looking, or in the phase of looking for a spouse or another spouse, however it may be, that Amir al-Mu'mineen gives us 2 criteria here. The first is that look at the family. Where is it that this individual is from? He says, find me a tribe, find me a family, a woman from a family that possesses these characteristics. First and foremost, don't just look at the individual, but look at the family from which they come. There's a narration, I think from Amir al-Mu'mineen Imam Sadiq, says that if you see something that is growing in filth, it can never benefit you. Something that comes from that which is najis, something that is filthy, will never ever be able to benefit you. And it says in the same, look at the family of the one that you hope to marry. If that family is pious, if it is courageous, it possesses those characteristics, then the one that you are hoping to marry will also have those characteristics. But the second thing that we learn from this proposal or this idea that Amir al-Mu'mineen is putting out there is that the aim of a marriage is not just for an individual to fulfill their own desires, the desire for companionship or whatever it may be, but rather it is for the continuation of pious lineage. It is with an aim that an individual has children. I find a spouse that will then enable me to have children that possess these characteristics. Not that I base it on the simple fact of, oh, well, they've got money or they look good or whatever it is. And then, we have children and they end up being kafir because everything else about that individual was inclined towards kufr. There was nothing about the religion. So it says, when you look for a spouse, look for someone that first and foremost, the religion is there. And then, when you're looking at that individual, think, will they be a good mother or a good father for a future generation? Because it's not just about me. It is about those that I'm going to leave in this world after me. So Aqil, after some thought, he comes back to Amir al-Mu'mineen. He says, Ya Ali, I know of a lady from the tribe of Bani Kilab, Fatima Kilabiya, who possesses all of the characteristics that you want. Her tribe is known for its gallantry, is known for its chivalry. She is the daughter of Huzam ibn Khalid and her mother Thumama. Amir al-Mu'mineen says, then go and ask, because both of them are from Bani Kilab. Both mother and father were from this tribe. Now Bani Kilab, even during the period of Jahiliyyah, were known for their generosity. They were known for their hospitality, their courage, their bravery in the battlefields, and the fact that they were people of ghira. They had honor. They would never dishonor anyone. So they had honor, and also they were known as being some of the best poets in all of Arabia. So Amir al-Mu'mineen says, go and ask. Aqil goes to the house, or goes to the area of Bani Kilab and goes to the house of Huzam. He says, I have a request. Huzam says, no, we don't speak about requests. It is our tradition that when you come and visit Bani Kilab, for 3 days we must serve you. We must keep you as our guest. On the 3rd day, you may ask us what it is that you have come for. So for 3 days, Aqil is kept as a guest of Huzam and the Bani Kilab tribe. On the final day, Huzam says to him, now tell us, what is it that you came here for? Aqil says to Huzam, says that I have brought the marriage proposal of my brother Amir al-Mu'mineen for your daughter Fatima Kilabiya. Huzam says 2 things. The first is, on my behalf, I accept the request and the proposal of Amir al-Mu'mineen. How can I deny Ali alayhi salam? But he says, but let me go and consult my daughter and my mother. Here, and my wife. Here you see the honor that was there within Huzam, that what type of individual he was. He says, let me go and consult my daughter and her mother. So he goes into the room where Fatima Kilabiya is with her mother, and sees both of them in a state of shock and surprise. He says to them, forget everything else, what's wrong with you? What happened? The mother says, your daughter just told me about a dream. And the dream is so shocking to me that it's made me speechless. Huzam says, what is it? What dream did you see, my daughter? She says, I saw myself last night sitting in a garden. In front of me there was a river that was flowing, and there were trees that were full of fruit. It says, as I was sitting there, I began to see the moon fall from the sky into my lap. And I saw 3 stars fall down around me. Huzam becomes very happy. He says, my daughter, surely you are blessed. I have come with the request of Amir al-Mu'mineen himself. He has come to ask for your hand in marriage. Do you accept? Fatima Kilabiya accepts. She comes to the house of Amir al-Mu'mineen. The marriage happens. She comes to the house. one of the first things that she does when she enters into the house is she loses the very name that she had. Look at the ma'rifah of this lady. The name of Fatima, she addresses the children of Fatima alayha salam, says, I have not come to replace your mother. Her station is much higher. I have come simply as one that is the servant of Ali Muhammad. And then she tells Amir al-Mu'mineen, says, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, do not call me by the name Fatima, in case these children remember their mother. Says, don't call me by that name. And some say it was at that point she said to Amir al-Mu'mineen, call me al-Baneen. Whether she knew or not, we don't know. al-Baneen now is in the house of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Soon she falls pregnant with Abbas alayhi salam. Upon the birth of Abbas alayhi salam, when the young child is presented, the baby is presented to Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali alayhi salam, he looks at this boy. And they say that Amir al-Mu'mineen, he kissed the head of Abbas. And then he kissed the chest of Abbas. And then he began to kiss the arms of Abbas. And Ali alayhi salam began to cry. al-Baneen looks at Amir al-Mu'mineen. She says, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, is there something wrong with my son? Amir al-Mu'mineen says, no, nothing is wrong with your son, al-Baneen. Says, then why is it that you cry? Amir al-Mu'mineen says, because al-Baneen, I know what is destined for this child. Says, what is it? Says, these arms of this child will be cut from his body. And he will be killed. al-Baneen is a mother, a child is just born. She begins crying, says, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, says, when? For who? Why is this going to happen? When she says, when? And where? Amir al-Mu'mineen says, Ard al-Taf, the land of Karbala. Says, when? Says, Yawm Ashura. Says, for who? Then the Maqtal says, Wa ishara ila al-Husayn alayhi salam. Says, Amir al-Mu'mineen pointed towards Husayn alayhi salam. For him. Points towards Husayn alayhi salam, says, Lihada, for him. For him. You know what al-Baneen did? That al-Baneen that just seconds before was crying. When Amir al-Mu'mineen said this Abbas will be killed, for who? For him. The Maqtal or the narration says, فَتَبَسَّمَتْ al-Baneen. The tears dried and al-Baneen began smiling. And this is how Abbas was raised. That when you want to understand who Abbas alayhi salam is, and you want to see the station that Abbas alayhi salam has, honestly, if you were to understand Abbas, Abbas is a giant amongst giants. An individual whose titles, whose names, everything is indicative of the majesty and the grandeur of this individual. One of the few individuals who has ziyarat ma'thura, a ziyarat that is recited by a ma'soom imam for him. If you look at the ziyarat nama of Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas, it is written by Imam al-Sadiq himself. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And I want to take some portions of that for us to have a look at, to try and understand who Abbas alayhi salam was. Imam says in that ziyarah, says, Ashhadu laka bit taslim wa tasdeeq. says, the first thing, Abbas, I bear witness that you had submitted and you were honest and accepting of the truth. You did not at any point falter from that truth. He submitted to the will of the Hujjah of Allah. From the start, imagine an individual who from the start has heard, he is for Karbala, he is for Karbala, he is for Hussein. Not just from the start of the journey of Imam al-Hussein, no, from his birth, he has heard that Abbas is for Karbala. As he's growing, his Abbas is for Hussein. Abbas is for Hussein. When he reaches the age of 13 and it is the battle of Siffin, and the battle has been raging for months. At one point, Amir al-Mu'mineen, he calls Abbas forward, he wraps the face of Abbas in a niqab, says, Abbas, now you go out and fight. Abbas goes out. Abu Sha'tha was known as being a strong warrior, had 7 sons. He sent out one by one each of his sons. The first came out, Abbas killed him. The second came out, Abbas killed him. All 7 sons of Abu Sha'tha were killed. And then Abu Sha'tha himself comes out. And he begins to attack Abbas. Abbas alayhi salam kills him. At that moment, the army of Muawiyah say that Ali has broke his promise. Ali himself has come out into the battlefield to fight. He's covered his face so that we do not recognize him. But at that point they saw Amir al-Mu'mineen standing from the tents. He calls out, Ya Abbas irji'i ila al-khayam. Abbas, return back to the tents. The companions that were with Imam Ali alayhi salam, they said to him, Ya Ali, why is it that you don't let him fight? We had a weapon like Abbas for so long, for so many months this battle has continued. Allow him to go and fight. Amir al-Mu'mineen turns towards them. He says, no, Abbas is not for Siffin. Innahu zukhrun lil Hussein. This is the treasure of Hussein for Karbala. Even at that point, Abbas is hearing. Abbas is for Karbala. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali. He returns. At the age of 15 or 16, Amir al-Mu'mineen is leaving this world. Abbas is watching. Amir al-Mu'mineen calls each and every one forward. They all give bay'ah to Imam al-Hassan. al-Baneen begins to ask, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, is there something wrong with my Abbas? That everyone gave bay'ah to Hassan, but you didn't take it from Abbas. Says, no, because al-Baneen, Abbas is for some other time. Abbas is for someone else. Says, who? Says, Abbas's bay'ah is to Hussein alayhi salam. Imagine hearing from the start of your life, you are for Karbala, you are for Hussein. And so when Imam al-Hussein makes that niyyah to leave from Medina, nowhere will you find. Muhammad Hanafiya, he came to Imam al-Hussein, said, brother, don't go. Ibn Abbas came to Imam al-Hussein, said, don't go. Many people came to Abu Abdullah. Muhammad Hanafiya was his brother. He told him, don't go. Umar al-Atraf was the brother of Imam al-Hussein, the youngest one, said, don't go. Ibn Abbas said, don't go. Abdullah ibn Ja'far said, don't go. But nowhere will you find in history that Abbas alayhi salam ever uttered anything in the presence of the Imam. That Abbas at any point questioned what it was that his Imam was doing. If he gave him his opinion, nowhere. Imam says, Abbas, we are leaving, we're leaving. Even the night before in the palace of Walid ibn Utbah, and when Marwan ibn Hakam, Imam al-Hussein goes in alone, Abbas says, let me come with you. Imam says, no, don't worry, you guys, you just wait outside with the youth of Bani Hashim. And when Imam goes inside and Marwan says to Walid that don't let Hussein leave. If he leaves, he will never be able to come into our hands again. Tell him we will sever his head if he does not give bay'ah to Yazid. At that point is when Imam al-Hussein raises his voice, addresses him, that he says, who is going to kill me? You or him? Says, who will kill me? You or him? Hearing the voice of Imam al-Hussein raise, one of my teachers used to say, he said that Abbas kicked open the door of the palace with such force to show that Abbas is not stopped through fear, but Abbas is stopped through the command of his master. At that point, Imam al-Hussein saw Abbas, said, Abbas, no, not here. Abbas backed away. Even before this, Imam al-Hassan was killed. When they fired arrows into the body, into the mayyit of Imam al-Hassan, at that point Abbas alayhi salam went to pull out his sword. Imam al-Hussein said, Abbas, no, not here. Not today. My brother had said, do not cause any bloodshed if these people do not allow me to be buried next to my grandfather. And Abbas put away his sword. And so when Imam al-Hussein leaves Medina, Abbas does not question. Abbas alayhi salam, when he left Medina, he had 4 sons. 3 went with him to Karbala. 1 by the name of Ubaidullah remained in Medina. 3 sons of Abbas and his wife Lababa, they went. And also his 3 brothers. They all left and they went to Karbala. They go to Mecca. Along the way, all of these stops. Nowhere does Abbas alayhi salam say anything. Karbala comes. In the middle of this desert, Imam al-Hussein says, this is the place that we will set up tents. Abbas doesn't say anything. On the banks of the Furat here is where we will remain. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't utter a word. When the 7th of Muharram comes and Imam al-Hussein says, Abbas, they've ordered that we move the tents from the banks of the Furat. Abbas alayhi salam doesn't say a word. It's not easy for Abbas. Abbas is the general of the army. Understand this. Abbas was made for this moment. Abbas was created for this moment. Abbas was trained for this moment, for this Karbala. It's not easy for Abbas. But when his master says, Abbas, move the tents, Abbas moves the tents. When on the night of Ashura, they wanted to start the battle, Imam al-Hussein, he turned to his own brother Abbas, said, Abbas, you go and ask them for 1 extra night. Put yourself in that position. You are the general and the commander of an army. You are the most ferocious warrior on that battlefield. And everybody knows it. But you're being told to go and ask for 1 extra night. How does it look? Did Abbas object? Not once. Imam said, Abbas, go to them and ask for 1 extra night. Saying what? Say to them, Inni uhibbu salah. I, Hussein, love to pray. Abbas, go ask them 1 extra night. Abbas alayhi salam goes. When the letters of Aman come, not just once, twice, Aman namas came for Abbas alayhi salam from the army of Yazid, that Abbas, because of the connection with Shamar and Bani Kilab, Abbas is free to leave. No harm will come to Abbas. Not just once, twice in the Maqatil, these letters came. They brought it. And both times Abbas alayhi salam, first he wouldn't go. Imam says, go, entertain them. See what is it that they want. Abbas went. When he saw them, he tore it. He says, la'ana upon you and la'ana upon this amanama that you have brought me. He says, do you think that I for a moment will leave my master in this situation? And so Abbas's very wujud was annihilated in the hujjah of Allah. Whatever the hujjah of Allah said, Abbas did. And you know what the result of that is? That everything his Imam wanted from him, he did. Whatever Imam al-Hussein wanted from Abbas alayhi salam, he never questioned. What is the result of it? Every Imam and every Nabi from the start of time to the end of time, all of them say, may our souls be sacrificed for Hussein alayhi salam. Rasulullah said, may my soul be sacrificed for Hussein. Amir al-Mu'mineen said, may my soul be sacrificed for Hussein. Zahra Marziya said, may my soul be sacrificed for Hussein. Hassan alayhi salam said, may my soul be sacrificed for Hussein. Until the Imam of our time, they all said, may our souls be sacrificed for Hussein. But Hussein said, Abbas binafsi ant. Abbas, may my soul be sacrificed for you. Imagine the maqam of Abbas alayhi salam. That every wali, every nabi, every imam is saying, may my soul be sacrificed for Hussein. But Hussein is saying, may my soul be sacrificed for Abbas. What is the position of Abbas? And so when the imam says, Abbas, I bear witness that you submitted to your imam. Wal-wafa' wal-nasiha. Says, and you were loyal and sincere. Loyal and sincere. When Zainab alayha salam finally reached back to Medina and she met al-Baneen for the first time, and they embraced each other, they wept. The first thing al-Baneen asked Zainab alayha salam, said, Zainab, tell me, was my Abbas loyal? Was my Abbas loyal? And Zainab alayha salam, what did she say? Said, if anyone was loyal in Karbala, it was Abbas. He reached the banks, but he never drank. The Imam says, Abbas, you were the embodiment of loyalty, of wafa. After the event of Karbala, Imam al-Sajjad is sitting with some people, and a young boy comes running in. Imam al-Sajjad sees the boy, he holds him, he begins to cry. And then he turns to the people and he says, do you know who his father is? Do you know who this child is? He says, no. He says, this is Ubaidullah. You know who his father is? His father is Abbas. And the Imam says, Rahimallahu ammi al-Abbas. May the mercy of God be upon my uncle Abbas. فَلَقَدْ أَثَرَ وَأَبْلَى وَفَدَى أَخَى بِنَفْسِهِ. That he gave everything for the sake of his brother. حَتَّى قُطِعَتْ يَدَى. Until his arms were even cut from his body. And then the Imam continues. He says, وَإِنَّ لِلْعَبَّاسِ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ. That and surely in regards to Abbas, in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, manzilatan, he holds such a status. يَغْبِطُهُ بِهَا جَمِيعُ الشُّهَدَاءِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. That every single one of the shuhada, from the start of time to the end, everyone that has been martyred in the way of Allah, when they look at the status of Abbas on the day of judgment, they will have ghibta for Abbas. They will all wish that they were at the position and the status that Abbas is at. So Abbas gave everything. He was loyal to the end. Even when he reached the banks of the Furat, he'd fought his way to the Furat, he was there. He stepped into the water and he took the water in his hands. If Abbas had drank at that moment, nobody would have held it against him. Nobody would have questioned Abbas. But as soon as he lifts it, he remembers the thirst of Abu Abdullah. He throws it down. And there he recites some poetry to himself. He says, Ya nafs min ba'd al-Husayn huni. وبعده لا كنت أن تكوني هذا حسين الوارد المنوني. Says that Abbas, what pleasure is there left in this world after Abu Abdullah? Will you drink from this water while your master drinks the syrup of death? He leaves it. He fills the bag of water and he returns. The loyalty of Abbas, that commitment that Abbas had, it's not easy to put aside your desires, both emotional and physical desires. There was something inside Abbas alayhi salam that he could have drank. He was thirsty. His thirst had not died, but he had annihilated himself for the sake of the Imam. It was not enough. It was not even a thought for Abbas that he could drink while his master was thirsty. He throws it away. The loyalty of Abbas is such that after the event of Karbala and when the Usara were brought to Kufa, and Ibn Ziyad was sitting on his throne and they were presenting him various things that were looted from Ali Muhammad. At one point they brought in a flag and they said, this is the flag of Abbas, the flag of the army. Because when the flag of the army falls, that was the sign of victory. And so they brought it to Ibn Ziyad, the flag that Abbas alayhi salam had held. He looked at the flag. It was pristine, as though nothing had happened. At that point, even a mal'oon like Ibn Ziyad, when he saw that, he says, هَكَذَا وَفَاءُ الْأَخْ لِأَخِيهِ. Says that this is loyalty of a brother to his brother. Says this is that loyalty. That Abbas did not allow even the flag of Hussein alayhi salam to receive any sort of damage. It's the loyalty of Abbas. And then the ziyarah continues. Says, Assalamu alayka ayyuha al-abdu salih. You know, all of this line is common, everybody knows it. But who is Abdul Salih? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala referring to his anbiya, referring to his prophets as Abdul Salih. Who is Abdul Salih? The Imam alayhimus salam are Abdul Salih. In your salah, when you say Assalamu alayna wa ala ibadillahi salihin, that's the blessings and may the salams and the peace of Allah be upon the righteous servants of Allah. Whenever you recite this, Imam as-Sadiq, by using these lines for Abbas, is saying that whenever you say Assalamu alayna wa ala ibadillahi salihin, one of the misdaqs, one of the recipients of that salam is Abbas alayhi salam. The sixth Imam says, Assalamu alayka ayyuha al-abdu salih. Abbas, you were the righteous servant of Allah. You gave everything in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You gave everything. Al-muti'u lillah wa li rasulihi wa li amir al-mu'mineen wal-Hassan wal-Hussein. So you gave for all of them in their way. Abbas had nothing of himself left. His sons were killed in Karbala. His brothers were killed. On the night of Ashura, Zainab alayha salam, she was walking around the tents. And she comes past the tent of Abbas. And she hears her brother with her other brothers. They were young. The eldest of the brothers of Abbas was 25. And he's gathered them. And he addresses them. He says, "O sons of my mother, what is your intention tomorrow?" They say, "Our brother, our intention is to give our life for Abu Abdullah." So Abbas alayhi salam says, "Then make sure you follow through with this promise." Each of them agree. On the day of Ashura, Abbas gathers his brothers. He says, "All of you go first. Let me see you give your life." And they're mentioned in the Maqatil, the three brothers of Abbas, the various rajas they recited, how their shahadats occurred. He says, "Go. You go first. Let me witness you giving your life for our brother and our master Abu Abdullah." Abbas was loyal, muti' to the Imam, totally and utterly obedient to the Imam. He gave everything. And that's why Abbas represented so much more than just Abbas, just the person. It's no small feat that the Hujjah of Allah is saying, "Binafsi ant." That the Hujjah of Allah is saying, "May my soul be sacrificed for you." Or that when Abbas alayhi salam falls on the banks of the Furat, that the Imam says, "Alanin kasra dhahri." That now my back has been broken. That he's the support of the Hujjah of Allah. And when he stands over the lifeless body of Abbas, Imam says, "Abbas, that eye that stayed awake out of your fear, tonight will sleep in peace. And that eye that slept in peace, knowing that you are alive, tonight will stay awake in fear." Abbas was muti' of the Imam. Totally and utterly was ready and had given his whole wujud for the Imam. أشهد أنك لم تهن ولم تنكل وأنك مضيت على بصيرة من أمرك. Sixth Imam says, "I testify that you did not at any point lag behind. And you did not turn your face away, but rather you left this life full of awareness for the truth. You had basira of the truth. You never stayed behind. You never went ahead. You stayed." As we recite in Salawat Sha'baniyah, which is recommended to recite every day in this month, when we address Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, we say, "You are al-fulk al-jariyati fil lujaj al-ghamira. يأمن من ركبها ويغرق من تركها. المتقدم لهم مارك والمتأخر عنهم زاهق واللازم لهم لاحق." That, O Ahlul Bayt, you are those ships that sail upon unfathomless seas. Saved is the one that believed in you. Lost, destroyed, or misguided is the one that did not believe in you. The one that went too far ahead of you was misguided. The one who stayed too far behind you was lost. وَاللَّازِمُ لَهُمْ لَاحِقٌ. But the one that stayed with you at every stage was reunited with you. Abbas alayhi salam, the sixth Imam, is saying, "I bear witness and I testify in front of Allah, لَمْ تَهِنْ, that you did not lag behind, nor did you at any point turn your face. No, in fact, Abbas himself was rushing towards death. From the day of Ashura, he was going to Imam al-Hussein, give me permission to go out. Give me permission to go out. And you hear Imam al-Hussein said, Ya Abbas binafsi ant, Abbas, my soul be your ransom, Abbas, anta sahibu liwa'i wa anta kabshu katibati. Abbas, you're my flag bearer, you're the commander of my army. How can I allow you to go out and fight? But at every point, Abbas wanted to go out. And he went out with that insight. The sixth Imam says, Kana Umman al-Abbas nafadh al-basira. Says that surely our uncle Abbas was nafadh al-basira, had deep insight. He had deep insight. Abbas understood. Basira is not just the ability to see, no. It is to have a deep insight into an affair. Don't think of Abbas alayhi salam just as the warrior Abbas. No, there's a whole aspect to Abbas that we don't discuss. There is Abbas, the Mufassir of the Quran. There is Abbas, the Arif and the mystic. Abbas alayhi salam was the son of Amirul Mu'mineen. Do not think of Abbas alayhi salam just as this warrior, just as a person that was fighting. No, Abbas alayhi salam was nafidhul basira, had deep insight. He had developed deep insight. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens that eye for an individual when they stay pure in their intentions, when they stay away from all that is haram, when they focus solely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they become nafidhul basira. And having basira is extremely important. Having insight, especially in the times that we live in, to know what an action will do. Not just it's here and now, but what I am doing in the name of the religion, in 10 years' time, what will the effect of that be? How I'm creating my organization, molding my organization, who I'm choosing or what I'm establishing, how I'm implementing. It's not just for the here and now or a year from now or 2 years from now. It is from 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. That's what it means to be nafidhul basira, to look deeply into a matter and understand, not just look at my population now and say, oh no, there's no one that attends, oh we don't need to do anything. No, what we need to do is move nafidhul basira. When you have deep insight, you see that we move and things will change. But if we don't have that insight, then 30, 40 years later, we will still be having this same conversation in the four walls of this same place. Why? Because we didn't have insight. In the actions that I do, in the du'as that I recite. Yesterday I mentioned to you that don't think that things that occur are just random. Just the fact that you are late to a majlis, or you're early to a majlis, or you totally miss it, or you miss the salah. All of these things are based upon ma'rifah, are based upon tawfiq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Understand that every action in this world has a reaction. This realm that Allah has created is a realm of cause and effect. Everything you do, even your inaction, has a reaction. And we'll see it, that any inaction that has happened in communities, the lack of action, results in a reaction and a degradation of a community. Sometimes what happens is that I don't have the basirat sometimes, and it's difficult because especially when it comes to work in the community or work for the deen, because there's no There's no actual thanks. Nobody brings you a bouquet of flowers and says, "Oh, thank you so much for doing all this community work. Thank you for, vacuuming the center or doing all of this." It doesn't happen. But if you're doing something for thanks, then you shouldn't be doing it in the start. If you're doing something that you will then later complain about, then don't do it in the start. To be nafidhul basira is to see that the action that I'm doing, is it truly qurbatan ilallah? If it is qurbatan ilallah, then it doesn't matter how many people complain, how many times I have to stay late, how much I have to clean. I chose the position. Now I have to live up to it. Either don't choose it, but if you choose it, be nafidhul basira. Have the insight to know that your action now is not for the here and now, but your inaction or your action will have a reaction that will manifest 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the line, will either enable a community to move forward or stagnate a community and make it degrade even further. To be nafidhul basira is to know. Abbas alayhi salam knew that's where he was going. He knew what the aim was. He'd always heard the stories of Karbala. It is to know that what I am doing is for something greater. Even if it is as simple as straightening the shoes outside, or serving niyaz, or giving something as simple as that. Every action has a reaction. Don't think of it in the here and now. The only reason we burn out in work of the deen, of community work, is because we think of it as the here and now. If you think of it as every moment that you do work in the way of this community, in the way of the Shia community, is not for the here and now, it is for your akhirah, when you're dead and buried. It is at that point when it will come. And so then, why is it that we have this problem with volunteers in every community? That there's not enough people coming forward. And those people who do come forward then find a reason to complain about the position they're in. Because we don't have the basira. We don't want to step forward because I'm like, oh, no, I haven't got time. Someone else will deal with it. And then I'm like, oh my God, my kids became kafir. They don't want to come to the masjid. Well, what do you think? Oh, no, my child chose the wrong spouse. They don't wear hijab, or they don't pray, they don't do this. Well, don't. Because it's that nafadhul basira, having insight into every action that is happening. Every action has a reaction. Every inaction has a reaction. Look at the opportunity that you get to serve as opportunity from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَالْفُرَشَ تُتَمَرَّ مَرَّ السَّحَابِ. Grab hold of opportunity before it passes you by. It's not easy. Servitude or serving the community or the Shia as a whole, being a servant of the community is not hard. It's not easy, It's extremely hard. And so that's why you need thick skin for it as well. That's why, do you think it was easy for the prophets of God? Right now you just get a complaint. Right now you have to stay a little bit late. Right now you just have to maybe vacuum after an event. Man, the prophets of God were getting stoned. Not for a month, for centuries. Nuh doesn't become ulil azm just like that. You do not achieve maqamat just like that. When you have been endowed with responsibility, entrusted with responsibility, then that responsibility, Yawmul Qiyamah, will also grab you by the neck. You had opportunity, you squandered it, you took the place from someone else that could have done it. Why did you just keep the seat warm? Or someone was doing it, why did you pull them away and destroy their morale that they don't even want to come to the Husayniyah anymore? It goes both ways. that if I beat down so much on those that are doing and they no longer want to come anymore, then I am answerable for every single individual that no longer enters into the Husayniyah because of my akhlaq. To be nafidh al-basira is to know what your hadaf, what your aim is. Know where you have come from, know what you are there, and know what you are in, what your present is, and know what your aim is. The reason we burn out in the way of the deen, or in volunteering, or in community work, is because we don't know the aim, or we don't believe in the hadaf. We don't believe in that akhirah. We don't believe that what I do in the way of Abu Abdullah will benefit me. And so I just see it as a chore, as a task, as something that is there as a burden upon me. But if I know where my aim is, and I know what my end is, then that is what will drive me forward. And I won't face that burnout. Abbas knew what his aim was. He had a major aim and a minor aim. The major aim of Abbas was ita'at of the Imam, the hujjah of Allah, the obedience of the hujjah of Allah. The minor aim of Abbas was to return to bring water back to the tents. And so even when his arms are cut, right arm is cut, Wallahi in kata'tumu yamini inni uhami abadan an dini. Says, even if you cut my right arm, Abbas will not stop defending the religion. They severed his left arm. Ya nafs la takhsha al-kuffar. Says, oh nafs, don't be afraid of the kuffar. You focus on the Lord. You keep riding. Even when his arms were severed, Abbas didn't stop working for the collective until finally that bag of water was pierced. Then it says, فَوَقَفَ الْعَبَّاسِ. Then Abbas stopped. Because the hadaf of Abbas was now finished. His aim was done. What is my aim? Abbas is nafidh al-basira. He had deep insight. I need to look at my community. I need to look at my role within the community. And see what position or what aspect can I help out in the community? Because it's not just upon those that may be elected, but it is a collective responsibility. Because these banners and this Ya Hussein and Ya Ali, they don't require memberships. They are international. Their doors are open to all. We have created, for whatever reason it may be, to sustain, to keep the upkeep of the center. That's good. But what I'm saying is, don't let that be the hurdle that stops you from getting involved. Everyone has a role towards paving the way of the hujjah of Allah. Everyone has a role. And everyone has a responsibility to the hujjah of Allah. One of those responsibilities I mentioned yesterday in regards to the ziyarat of Imam al-Hussein. The 8th Imam says every one of the hujjah of Allah has a responsibility around the necks of their Shi'as. And one of the fulfillments of that responsibility, of that ahad, is ziyarah of their graves. Going to Karbala, the ziyarat of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam is extremely important. I said to you yesterday that the narration says if someone had the money to go to Karbala for the ziyarat of Imam al-Hussein and they didn't go and they died, they would be considered a munafiq. This is the riwayah. 6th Imam says if you can't afford to go to Karbala, then take a loan. Nowhere else, no other ziyarah does it say it. Says, if you can't afford to go to Karbala, take a loan from someone. Go. We will be the guarantors for your loan, the Imam says. Go for the ziyarat of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. So why the 11th Imam was telling people one of the signs of the Shia is ziyaratul arba'in, going to the grave of Imam al-Hussein for arba'in. Everything is about Imam al-Hussein. 13th Rajab, Imam al-Hussein. 15th Sha'ban, Imam al-Hussein. Layal al-Qadr, Imam al-Hussein. Ayyam al-Bid, Imam al-Hussein. There's a reason why. And so when you reach that blessed land, before you go to the door of the king, you go to the door of Abbas alayhi salam. And you ask Abbas for permission. When Abbas alayhi salam gives you permission, then you go towards Imam al-Hussein. And even then, in there are different stages, however you want to see it. First you go to Habib and ask Habib for permission. Then from Habib you go to the Shuhada, you ask them for permission. Or go to the Shuhada, ask them for permission. Then go to Habib and ask him for permission. And then go into the Darih of Imam al-Hussein. Those ziyarat in Karbala is the living proof, is that living story of Karbala. And so one of the oaths, fulfillment of that oath, is to go for the ziyarah of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Go for the ziyarah of Abul Fadl al-Abbas. Imagine Abbas alayhi salam is the only non-ma'soom that the ma'soom a'imma would come for their ziyarah, come for his ziyarah, and would recite. As I said, the ziyarat of Abbas is ziyarat ma'thura. The Imam, the Hujjah of Allah, recited the ziyarat of Abbas alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Abbas is Abul Fadl. Yes, they say one of his sons was named Fadl. But the other thing is Abbas is the father of virtue. Means the father of virtues. If you want to see a virtuous person, or you want to see virtue in human form, it is Abbas. Abbas is known as the Qamar, the moon of Bani Hashim. Why? Part of it was because of the looks of Abbas. How attractive he was, how handsome he was. But also alongside that external attraction, there was that internal attraction. The akhlaq of Abbas alayhi salam. In the way that he was and interacted with people. Abbas had everything at his disposal. Salamullah alayhi. Had everything. But he rid himself of all of his desires, all of his wants, all of his own wishes, for the sake of his Imam. And so what did that result in? What happens to the one who gives up his own desires, his own wishes, his own hopes and prayers? I'll tell you what happens. He becomes Babul Hawa'ij. He becomes the door to desires, the door of wishes, the door of supplications. If ever you're stuck, use the wasila of Abbas alayhi salam. And if you want it to be stronger, then use the wasila of his mother al-Baneen. And then ask Abbas alayhi salam. Understand who this individual is. And ask on this night that, oh Allah, for the sake of Abbas alayhi salam, make me nafadul basira as well. For the sake of the dedication that Abbas had to the deen and to his community and to his Imam, Allah give me that same level of dedication and commitment to my community and my Imam. We pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives our sins. Pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives the sins of our parents, Oh Allah, those of our parents that are alive, give them long lives. Those of our parents that have left this world, give them a place next to Ali Muhammad in Jannah. Oh Allah, those who are ill, give them shifa'ah. Those who are in debt, clear their debts. Oh Allah, give us tawfiq to go on the ziyarat of Imam Al-Hussein and Hazrat Abbas this year and every year. Ya Allah, give us tawfiq to go on the ziyarat of Ali Muhammad this year and every year. Ya Allah, give us tawfiq for Hajj and Umrah this year and every year. Ya Allah, keep safe the Shia of Ali Muhammad around the world. Ya Allah, especially keep safe the people of Gaza, the people of Lebanon, the people of Syria and Parachinar. Ya Allah, destroy all of the enemies of Tashayyu in whichever form they may come. Ya Allah, hasten the reappearance of the Imam of our time and allow us to be amongst his true muttadhireen, his true awaiters, for the acceptance of these du'as and any other du'as that you brothers and sisters have brought. Please recite 3 of your loudest salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम हज़रात, आप सबको आज का ये मुबारक दिन बहुत बहुत मुबारक। और एक कोशिश एक शेर के साथ कि अब्बास नाम अहले तशय्यो का राज है, अब्बास नाम अहले तशय्यो का राज है, अब्बास नाम अहले तशय्यो का राज है। और सैदानियों में ज़िक्र वफ़ा इम्तियाज़ है, सैदानियों में ज़िक्र वफ़ा इम्तियाज़ है। और एक मनक़बत आप सबों की इजाज़त। कि मुमकिन नहीं है नाम मिटाना हुसैन का, मुमकिन नहीं है नाम मिटाना हुसैन का, मुमकिन नहीं है नाम मिटाना हुसैन का। और हंसता है तीर खा के घराना हुसैन का, हंसता है तीर खा के घराना हुसैन का। और दोनों जहां का नूर 72 को दे गए, दोनों जहां का नूर 72 को दे गए। और खेमे में एक चराग बुझाना हुसैन का, खेमे में एक चराग बुझाना हुसैन का, खेमे में एक चराग बुझाना हुसैन का। खेमे में एक चराग बुझाना हुसैन का। एक वर्ड है तेज़ गामियाँ, इसका मतलब मुझे गुस्ताखी होगी तो मैं एक बात कहूँ लेकिन तेज़गामी यानी तेज़ रफ्तार। तेज़ रफ्तार का मतलब फास्ट रनिंग। कि गुमराह कर गई है हमें तेज़गामियाँ, 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 और वापस बुला रहा है ज़माना हुसैन का, वापस बुला रहा है ज़माना हुसैन का। मुमकिन नहीं है नाम मिटाना हुसैन का, मुमकिन नहीं है नाम मिटाना हुसैन का। हंसता है तीर खा के घराना हुसैन का, कोई इनाम है फलक से ये तारों का टूटना, कि इनाम है फलक से ये तारों का टूटना, और एजाज है ख्याल में आना हुसैन का, एजाज है ख्याल में आना हुसैन का। इनाम है फलक से ये तारों का टूटना, और एजाज है ख्याल में आना हुसैन का। और ये फ़ख्र का मुकाम है अशहर मेरे लिए, ये फ़ख्र का मुकाम है अशहर मेरे लिए। कहते हैं लोग हमको दीवाना हुसैन का, मुमकिन नहीं है नाम मिटाना हुसैन का। सलावत मोहम्मद वाले।
अफ़ज़लुस्सलात मुहम्मदिन व आले मुहम्मद। अब सर पे मेरे टूट पड़ा कोहे आलम है, और चरक भी हर लहज़ा मेरे दर पाए गम है। अफलाक की गर्दिश से मेरा नाक में दम है, मैं कतराए नाचीज़ हूँ तू बहरे करम है। हल कीजिए मुश्किल मेरी अब देर सितम है,
अब्बास अली तुमको सकीना की कसम है। तकलीफ के हाथों से मेरा हाल है जाहिर, जिल्लत मुझे दिखलाता है हर दम फलके पीर। मोहताज समझ कर को कोई करता नहीं तौकीर, फरियाद है दो दाद मेरी बाजुए शबीर। हल कीजिए मुश्किल मेरी अब देर सितम है। अब्बास अली तुमको सकी की कसम है। इस वक्त में होवेगा मेरा कौन मददगार। इस वक्त में मुनिस न कोई यार न गमख्वार। आका मेरे मैं किससे करूं दर्द दिल इज़हार। सुन लीजिए अब मेरे खुदा ये मेरी गुफ्तार। हल कीजिए मुश्किल मेरी अब देर सितम है। अब्बास अली तुमको सकीना की कसम है। अफजलुस सलात। Brothers, looks like you all had a very long day, mashallah, because the energy is all down, mashallah. Let's try it again. Afzalus salat. Mashallah. Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Can I recite one more? One more? I think you all tried. We'll stop here. Ilahi babima redaste bala जो बीमार हो जल्द पावे शिफा। इलाही बराए इमामे ज़मान हमें हौले में है शर से दे तू अमान। कयामत को माशो रहो मा अली उठे कब्र से कहते हम या है पांचवनो मिल चार दहतान अहमद व अली ज़हरा व हसन शबीरा से ले था इमाम ज़मान। एक एक पे सदा सलावात परो सलावात सलावात के ओ स्पेनी सारे गोहर जो नबी ये बुलंद दसिफात हुए सलावात सलावात ओ सलाम या इमाम ज़मान फरमाओ ज़ुहूर या इमाम ज़मान صلوات. السلام عليك يا رسول الله. السلام عليك يا خديجة الكبرى. السلام عليك يا أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين. السلام عليك يا حسن المجتبى. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. السلام عليك يا أبا الفضل الأباس بن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا ابن سيد الوسيين. السلام عليك يا ابن أول القوم إسلاما وأقدمهم إيمانا وأقومهم بدين الله وأقوتهم على الإسلام. أشهد لقد نصحت لله ولرسوله ولأخيك فنعم الأخ المواسي. فلعن الله أمة قتلت ولعن الله أمة ظلمت ولعن الله أمة استحلت منك المحارم وانتهكت الحرمة الإسلام. فنعم الصابر المجاهد المحامي الناس والأخ الدافع عن أخيه المجيب إلى طاعته ربه راغب فيما زهد فيه غيره من الثواب الجزيل والثناء الجميل. وألحقك الله بدرجة بآبائك في جنات النعيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولى وابن مولى. السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء. السلطان بالحسن علي بن موسى الرضا كن شفيئنا وشفيء والدينا في يوم الجزاء ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب الزمان. الأمان الأمان الأمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا كعبة الإيمان. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة بن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا قائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرزك توعا وتمتع فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
Brothers and sisters, there's been a request for Ayat Shifa. There's a brother who had a surgery yesterday. So for all those who are sick in our community and the Muslims who are sick, please recite 5 times Amma Yujibul. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. أَمَّن يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ يَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ 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 أَمَّن يُجِيبُ الْمُضْطَرَّ إِذَا دَعَاهُ يَكْشِفُ السُّوءَ. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. Also reminder, the sweet rolls, the Swiss rolls have Nutella in them for anybody with nut allergies. Thanks. Jazakallah khair.